All right, and for more on this, joining us live on the broadcast is James Jackson, who's a defense journalist and a political analyst. Thank you so much for joining us. What is your assessment of this incident? What more can you tell us about this?
I think one thing which readers and listeners might not be aware of is that actually, though this follows the patterns of a number of Islamic extremist terrorist attacks and almost took place on the anniversary of the Platz attack 8 years ago, which took place just one day before, this attacker appears, according to his Twitter, to be an anti-Muslim extremist, or rather an ex-Muslim. So he was a doctor and a psychologist who set up an NGO to help Saudi, particularly women, escape from Saudi Arabia because of their fear of Islam. But if you watch his videos, he appears to be very self-obsessed, very erratic, and he's threatened revenge because he says that Germany wants to Islamize Europe. So although initially reports from many far-right Twitter accounts and politicians appeared to indicate that it was an Islamist attack, he was actually a supporter of the far right. I think this is really a huge twist in the story, and what makes it one of the biggest, strangest stories I've covered in my time in Germany, because it's almost the exact opposite of what initial reports came out. So this attacker has been threatening online that he would be taking revenge against Germany. He was angry that they were taking Islamic Muslim Syrians while rejecting asylum seekers from Saudi Arabia, who included ex-Muslims. We know he donated to the Council of Ex-Muslims, but he appears to have been driven by a need for revenge, by paranoia, saying and also attacking another ex-Muslim group. So there could be signs of mental illness or narcissism, some kind of personality disorder in play. It's all signs point to this lone wolf attack. And there have also been reports from police, reported by Bild Zeitung tabloid, that he was under the influence of drugs. And I think one really tragic part is that actually he appears to have worked in the same hospital that his victims would be treated in.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jackson. You've given us some really pertinent points regarding the background of the perpetrator as well. Now, that being said, we've seen multiple such incidents in the past across Europe, as I listed them out earlier as well. The US and UK have issued statements saying that they are closely monitoring the situation in Germany. How do you assess the reasons behind these?
Of course, there needs to be high security alert at Christmas markets in case there are copycat attackers. But from everything we've seen, this person seems to have acted on their own. Now, last night, Erfurt Christmas market, which is a few hours away from Magdeburg, also in East Germany, was closed early, while there's increased security at Berlin and Leipzig Christmas markets. Now, that makes sense, but there could be, anything can happen, and there are often copycat attacks. But I think his motivations, so the attacker actually tweeted out a video just minutes after the attack. Whether this is a scheduled tweet or he did it from the car itself, we don't know. But this was a particularly brutal attack. In that video, he says the German nation, German citizens have to pay for what they did to him. He accused the police, the German police, of opening his post, stealing a USB stick. So there's definite signs of paranoia and narcissistic delusion here, because he even said, you know, the Germans are responsible for killing Socrates. He's had a worldview where he thought that Germany was responsible for Islamizing Europe. Of course, Germany is a majority Christian country, which welcomed in numbers of refugees from Syria. We don't know if there's any connection with the change in government and the fall of the Assad regime in Syria. But this man appears to have been tweeting for over a year that he would be taking revenge on Germany. But that appears to be because they rejected asylum claims of Saudi Arabian ex-Muslims, as well as personal grievances that he had, including some quite strange conspiracy theories that, for example, liberal leftist Muslims and anti-Muslims working together, and it was all a false. This one particular NGO, the Säkuläre Flüchtlinge, was a false flag. So really, we do see signs of paranoia in all of his communications. We haven't had any indication from the police yet, but I spent all of last night looking at his tweets, and I found that he actually sent me some of his tweets, which were about these conspiracy theories, which I mentioned to you, which he actually even put in through an AI Elon Musk as a video online. So some really strange stuff, really surprising, and going against everything that many people initially unfairly assumed.
All right, Mr. Jackson, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. You've raised some really pertinent, important issues here as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll, of course, continue to track all developments on this very closely.
Thanks for having me.
And these are the visuals that we are getting live from Germany, where Olaf Scholz is all set to address the public in a short while from now. We'll, of course, continue to bring you the live broadcast of that once that starts. For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.